The parking lot was quiet. The kind of quiet that comes with the fading light of an early autumn afternoon. There was a chill in the air, the kind that always reminds you that the seasons are shifting, that time is passing. An elderly woman, her face etched with years of life, stood by her car, staring at the grocery bags in her hands. She was leaning heavily on her cane, her posture bent in a way that screamed the toll of age and the weight of countless days lived. Her name was Margaret. And for all her years of living, she had always been independent. She didn't like asking for help, never had. She'd raised children, worked jobs, dealt with hardships that had sculpted her into the woman standing before those grocery bags now. But today was different. The bags were too heavy. Her arms trembled as she tried to lift them into her car, but her body wouldn't cooperate. The weight, the age, and the accumulated exhaustion made it impossible. She hesitated, looking down at the bags, then back at the car. It was a small, mundane moment, but in Margaret's eyes, it felt like the world was closing in on her. This was the kind of moment that hit hardest with age, the realization that you're no longer able to do the simple things you once took for granted. She sighed deeply, her breath catching slightly in her chest. Just as she was about to sit down on the curb to take a moment, a voice broke through the stillness. "Need a hand?" Margaret looked up, startled. Standing before her, looking nothing like anyone she would have expected, was Jason Statham. Yes, the Jason Statham, the tough, action star known for playing characters who always seemed to be one step ahead. But here he was, in a simple gray hoodie and jeans, standing in a parking lot, looking as calm as if he'd just stepped out of his front door. She blinked, unsure if her eyes were deceiving her. I'm fine," she muttered, her voice shaky, but the truth was, she was anything but fine. Jason didn't budge. He just gave her a small, reassuring smile, and for a moment, it was as though the harsh realities of the world had softened. "It doesn't look like you are." Margaret hesitated, but there was something about him, something in his voice that felt different from the countless strangers who had passed her by. He wasn't offering pity, he was offering help, pure and simple. "You sure?" "I could use a hand," Margaret finally said, her voice trailing off. Jason stepped forward, effortlessly lifting the bags from her trembling hands. He placed them gently into the back of her car, then turned back to her. "You don't have to struggle with this alone." Margaret's heart fluttered in her chest. It wasn't just the physical weight of the groceries that had been heavy. It was the emotional weight of feeling invisible, of growing older and realizing that you weren't quite the person you used to be. "Thank you," she said softly, her voice thick with emotion. "I didn't expect. I never thought I'd see the day a famous actor would be standing here, helping me with groceries." Jason laughed lightly, the sound warm and genuine. "Well, today's your lucky day then, isn't it?" He gave her a wink that, for a split second, made her feel like the most important person in the world. As he closed the trunk and stepped back, Margaret felt a wave of gratitude wash over her. But more than that, she felt seen. It wasn't just the act of lifting her bags, it was the act of acknowledging her, of recognizing that sometimes people need help. And sometimes, it's not about asking. It's about offering. "I've been coming here for years," she said, her voice softer now, her words carrying the weight of memories. "This grocery store, this parking lot. I've seen it all change. And sometimes, I feel like I don't know where I belong anymore." Jason, who had no idea how to respond to such raw honesty, simply nodded. There was an unspoken understanding between them. "You belong right here," he said quietly, his voice steady. The words hung in the air, heavier than they should have been, but in that moment, they felt perfect. Margaret smiled, the wrinkles at the corner of her eyes deepening. "I guess I do." Before Margaret could say anything else, Jason's phone rang. He pulled it from his pocket, glancing down at the screen. He sighed, clearly distracted. "I've got to get going," he said with a small apology. "But it was good to meet you, Margaret. Take care of yourself, okay?" Margaret nodded, feeling a pang of something deeper as she watched him turn to leave. In that brief exchange, he had given her a sense of hope, a reminder that the world hadn't completely forgotten her. But then, just as he was about to walk away, Jason stopped, looking over his shoulder. He hesitated for a moment, then called out, "Hey, you should come by the store next week. I'll make sure you don't have to carry those groceries yourself again." Margaret blinked, stunned by his words. "You're serious?" "I'm serious. If you need help, I'll be here." She watched him walk away, her heart still racing from the encounter. But as he disappeared from sight, she felt something inside of her shift. For the first time in a long while, Margaret felt like there was a little more kindness in the world, and maybe, just maybe, she wasn't invisible after all. The parking lot remained quiet, but now, the sound of time seemed just a little less heavy. Jason Statham, the star everyone knew, had done something simple, but profound. In the span of just a few minutes, he had made an elderly woman feel seen, acknowledged, and cared for. It wasn't just about the groceries. It was about humanity. About how, even in a world where so much seems to be about fame, power, and speed, sometimes all it takes is a simple gesture to remind us of what truly matters. And Margaret, well, she would never forget the moment Jason Statham became her hero, not because of his fame, but because of his kindness.